Hey! Hello there. Welcome to Jarviskjir. To kill a Lich. This is a different little short adventure because A Mother's Love has to stop slightly for a little bit of time, and we'll probably hopefully go back to it. If not, we'll be doing some other things. So this is a little short. It'll either be very short because I kill everyone, or very long because it takes ages. A short campaign set in the past. And I was asked how could something be in the past if it's my own homebrew, and the answer is shut up. So, how is everyone?
It was better until that intro.
Look, intros are always bad. Half the intros to this are just us talking about something else.
Something completely unrelated.
Yeah.
I like those intros.
I like those intros more than any other intro too, but you can't do that on episode 1. You can't do that. You can't do that on twitch.tv.
Alright. I'm good.
Okay, you're good?
I'm good.
That's all I needed to know. Hey
You're
everyone, hey chat, how are you doing? That's what really matters. So, I guess we're just gonna get into it because no one has anything relevant to say. You're so boring. Now I know how Scott feels when he starts a stream and everyone just stares at him. Oh, and also we have Will here. That's new. There's Will. He's Will.
Hello,
Will.
governor.
Hello, governor. All right. Anyway, enough intros. Intros suck. So, this campaign is, like I said, set in the past. The regular Jarviskjir games is set in on a draconic calendar in the years 4,400 and so on. This campaign is set quite a time before that. This campaign is set in the year 2812, although the humans probably wouldn't use that year. They probably haven't adapted the draconic calendar yet because they hate everyone. Only around 800 years ago, humans came to Jarviskjir. They were guided here by their prophet, by their first emperor, Emperor Pyth, a lord of light who started to be revered and worshipped like a god as he led them from the terrible homeland they came from to Jarviskjir, to the coast, to Goldport, the first city where he created golden statues and towers that would house the humans of the New World. It's been around 800 years since they've landed there, which is not a long time in fantasy perspectives, but a long time for humans, especially humans who don't live the longest lives because they don't have the high qualities of magics and the high qualities of treatment and how to live slightly longer lives than the norm. No, they're living terrible, horrible, short lives as farmers and serfs in a horrible, dirty city, aside from the nobles. In those 800 years, humans have had clashes, both, with the locals. They had long bloody wars with the dwarves until they stole the crossbow technology from the dwarves and used it against them, and then the dwarves are like, hey, oh, hey, calm down, we can trade. We don't need to cool it there. They've met the elves, although the elves really don't care for the humans. They're on the other side of the world, and they're not really doing anything interesting. Okay, you can be over there. Don't bother us. We won't bother you. The other race of concern, mostly for them, are the Dragon King, the Dragonkin of Drakenbrow, who are extremely xenophobic, and any attempts to get into their territories are hit with powerful magics and searing frosts. So the humans, they're kind of more xenophobic than they are in the future. The humans of later Jarviskjir are actually fairly accepting compared to Goldport now. Goldport is a fanatical place where the worship of Pyth is so much more dramatic and intense. And one of the other enemies that Goldport has to face, humanity as a whole has to face, is a Lich. The word Lich is something that is rumored It's not a term that is known like it may be in some other settings. No. What they know is that, first of all, they assumed this was a dwarven construction. One time, aeons ago, near their settling, people started going missing. Then they finally managed to piece it together that a lich by the name of Verminus lived in a realm named Vanateth that would settle in Jarviskjir to the west. I'm not good at that. To the west of Goldport, quite far away, but well in the human territories, sort of where the human and dwarven territories would meet. And the reason why no one settled there is because every few years, no clerics could figure out a good rhyme or pattern. A tower, a city appears and starts to drag in life and turn it into death. And it is something that humanity fears greatly. Even the dwarves fear it greatly. Everyone fears it, and the native goblins and monsters of the land try to avoid it the best they can. This has happened several times, been part of legend, part of fact. Hey, maybe some of you are old enough to have even been to have witnessed this happen before, and maybe you made it out with your lives. But there is a rumor. There was a rumor that was cemented by the current emperor of the Yarvan Empire, the Empire of Humanity, the Empire of Goldport, Emperor Pyfe VI. He admits, he consents with his golden holy blood that Vanateth has returned. And that is where you four come in. You are currently heading towards Vanateth. You know where it should be. You can actually follow existing roads. You can follow dirt tracks because it's land. And some settlers, some frontier farmers, hey, they're going to make the best out of the best they can. It's actually very fertile land. To some people, it's worth trying to farm it for as many years as they can before they get snatched. Maybe sending their money off somewhere else. You are currently heading off. Each one of you, a hero of many stories, of many quests. Well, someone who has changed the Empire for good. Depending on your perspective of good. And right now you're traveling there. Each one of you on war horses, although one of you may be on a war pony, which doesn't have stats, but you know, I'm sure we can work that out. Towards Vanateth with your mission not to kill the Lich, not yet, to merely make certain that Vanateth has returned, to witness it, to scout it out, because 4 people taking on a city of undeath that can travel through worlds is not a task even the Emperor of Humanity would ask. He is asking you to scout it out, to give him a glance and return to him in Goldport with all the information you have gleaned. And that is where we start. With the 4 of you riding through the rain, you all know each other. Whether you've worked together in this capacity, some of you definitely have. Some of you are, you have heard of each other, yes. Whether you've heard good things or bad things is a worrying question. You're riding towards where Vanateth is supposed to be through a gloomy, rainy night. And why don't we start off describing your characters as you ride, as you talk a little bit, because you are travelers and adventurers and you probably have things to talk about. Why don't we start with the Circle of Fame, in this case, because when you get level 16, you get a Circle of Fame. That's how it works. With Aaron. You're muted.
Sorry, if I don't talk for a while, it goes into a hibernation mode. And it stops working.
weird.
That's me too. If no one talks at me for a while, I go to hibernation. Just buy when you're done moving. Treat yourself.
I'll give myself a new headset.
Get yourself a new headset. Yeah, exactly. Eric doesn't need a good headset. What's he listening to? Weeb music? It don't matter.
So my character's name is Debbie. She is very tall, very lanky, has short dark hair, very angular features. And she is very bored on this trip. In fact, I am constantly just like turning to Ian's character and sighing. Like, we never said we'd have to get on horses. This is so fucking boring.
Ah! Just a moment. Zoom decided to... So every time Zoom has a chat, and usually it pops out. This time it popped in, and everyone got squished to the side. Because consistency. Am I right? Who likes that? Who likes that? Okay, never mind. Continue. Sorry. You're complaining to Ian's character.
Yeah, that's all.
Correct. Good. As is meant to be. So you two are more or less traveling together. We'll get to Ian's character in a second. Riding probably behind them. They're probably in front. Is Will. Who are you?
All right, so my character is wearing some pretty ornate robes of red and navy. He's on the back of his horse. He's pretty silent, actually. He's not saying much at this moment. He's just kind of acknowledging the fact that there's a Debbie Downer in the group, and so he's right on the horse.
Like she's like smiling and whatnot. She's not super down, but yeah.
He's a bit taller for a human, just over 6 feet tall, actually. Very, very messy black hair with a little bit of like salt added in there, a little bit of Gray's hair starting to shine through. Right now, actually, that messy hair would probably be tied up into a very, very short bun, like not even a bun, like it couldn't even be a bun because it's so short, but it's there. Also, pretty angular features. He does have a large scar on the top right-hand side of his head. Looks like it's some type of burn. That's pretty much him.
Yes, and something you both didn't mention is you're both pretty old. Especially...
He talked about gray, his hair graying.
His hair's graying, but to just so to make it clear, you are elder. Especially in a land before...
Time?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. In a land before time, this isn't in the book. It's like, humans have a life expectancy of like 80 to 100 years. No, you're lucky to live to 60.
Can I be Ducky then?
I know some horrific stories.
You can be
about
what
that.
you want to
Let's
be.
talk about Ducky.
You know what? This is D&D. You can be what you want to be within fucking reason. Next up is Ian, who is being chatted to by Devi.
Yes, so my character is on the tall side for a woman. Although, given that the other two humans have described themselves as very tall, that probably makes me the shortest human here.
Reminds me of an old story.
She's wearing large plate armor. It's very, very bulky, so you can't really make out her build or anything, but she has to be strong to be able to wear that. She's got a large shield on her back and a helmet which is sort of like one of those open face sort of Valkyrie helms that sort of covers the cheeks, but not really the sort of bridge of the nose, but not the mouth or anything. She has clear blue eyes and with a dignified gaze and long pale blonde hair that's tied back at a low point near the base of her neck. There's a few strands of grey appearing in the hair, but she seems to have aged quite well considering how old she obviously is. She just has a very imposing, dignified face, but you can just about see, although it's partly obscured by the helmet, she has a scar that there's 3 claw mark-like things going up on her right cheek. You can't see how far they extend thanks to the helmet. And yeah, I mean, all of her armor and gear has like the crest of House Yarvan on it. And she is just replying to Aaron's character. Yes, well, if I told you about what it was, then you would not have accompanied us. We need your skills for this.
That's not true. I'll always come with you. Family is just so important.
Yes, quite. Thank you. Yes. As I say, your skills will be useful here. Indispensable, in fact. I do not believe this is something I can do alone, certainly.
Yeah.
And then probably at the back, or maybe between, it's sandwiched between the humans is Scott.
So, Even though technically his name is Osborne Thunderbrow, he's always been known as the General for as long as he's really interacted with humans. That's because my halfling character, who's in his probably late 40s or early 50s, definitely climbing up there in age for a halfling, full head of gray hair that he lets grow out, but he doesn't have like a receding hairline or anything. He's built a reputation as a member of the halfling. So halflings don't really have a military the way other races do. So it's like kind of like the volunteer military, where he became a leader that not only aided in the halfling forces during a great conflict in the past, but actually he led the human forces extremely well, and that's where they kind of got like, the nickname General. And so humans typically refer to him just as General, the nickname that he has. But anyways, he's like I said, an older halfling. He generally keeps quiet into himself. If nobody's bothering him, or if he's not engaging in conversation, he might just kind of like hum to himself. It's very mindless, old battle hymns and stuff like that. But he's pretty laid back. He's not engaged with any of them at the moment. He's kind of staring off into the horizon, appreciating like just nature for what it is, and understanding that this is quite the endeavor that we're undertaking in our seasoned years. And while we're probably the best option for it, understands the gravity of what it is, and so he's kind of like weighing that with appreciation of the world as it is.
Cool. So you have two women talking to each other, and a halfling sort of off in his own world, and the same with the human who's lagging in the back as well. The man. Great. Of course, you do all vaguely know of each other. Whether you know exactly of your skill sets and things, you probably had meets and greets long before this as well. But you aren't the lot that need to have a lot of conversations amongst each other, at least yet. Anyway, so as you continue to travel, like I said, you are traveling actually through townships, not big, fully set out towns, but little farming communities that are completely abandoned. This cold rain has beset upon you for the last hour or so as you get closer to a destination, and the more astute of you start to notice that, okay, yeah, there's a heavy storm above. Everything is drowned out in color because there's no sunlight to beam down. But you're noticing things starting to decay. The flowers in the windows of small buildings have just rotted and died. Grasses that are nothing more than, withered little remains. These townships are empty and not entirely a sign of a scuffle, but you travel through more than a few as you go through from like fairly well-used roads to little tracks to just you're going west. Eventually there's no more houses to really follow, and you just continue traveling. It doesn't take you very long to actually get to within sight of Vanateth. You're smart. You're level 16. A lot of things I'm just gonna do for you. You approach when you start to see it on the distance, and you start to feel an unearthly dread in the I was gonna say the belly of your chest, which doesn't. You start to feel that unearthly dread of something not quite right. You make your way up a hill with a bit of a cresting cliff, so that you can look upon this site from afar. And what you see. And you can see it more. It's not. You don't even necessarily know if it's nighttime. The halfling can tell you it's not nighttime. I know. I haven't eaten yet. But with such dark, billowing clouds in the sky, you can't really see that well. It's only when thunder strikes you have good views of what you see. What you see is Vanateth, exactly as stories have told, or if some of you have glimpsed it before, it is exactly as it's described. There is an outer wall that is actually not fully encompassing the city. It's got archways and openings, way more than a city would need. It would be a defense flaw to have this many openings in a city. It's almost like the walls aren't necessarily entirely for defense, and they sort of swoop upwards and outwards in this sort of very gothic, almost like claws as they encompass the city inside. Inside the city, you can actually see a wealth of farmland, strangely enough, and crops being tended, and then small buildings. Some bigger than others, most of them sort of vaguely pyramid-esque or sort of with a very gothic design. They don't all necessarily fit in with each other, all behind or surrounding one vast tower that travels up into the clouds with spikes on its outer rim, or sort of every couple of where you imagine floors would be. And it just goes up into the clouds, where you can see not where it ends. If you want to take further looks, further examinations, you're going to need to get closer, you're going to need to do checks, all that sort of things. This is just what you see as you crest the hill on your horses.
Well, someone has a flair for the dramatic. I say, looking at the clouds. Shall we get closer?
Yes, I think we need to. At a glance, it seems the sort of thing that would be very difficult to siege, I can say that much.
Hi, better look. Probably a good idea. And then, give like a on the reins to move a little bit faster.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to try and horse stealth, or do you just want to sort of get closer but not inside it?
I imagine just getting closer on the horses without being, like you said, inside it, or as long as there's no signs of danger yet.
Okay. As you travel closer, it's one of those things. As you actually go down from the hill and the cliffside, you kind of get a lot worse of a view. You can't see over these walls. These walls are actually maybe 15 to 20 feet up. They sort of cressolate. It's not a word, but it's what I'm saying. They sort of swoop and fall in different places. Some parts taller than others, but they are obnoxiously tall. They are absurdly tall and actually look quite thick set too, with quite thick bases that sort of spiral upwards. As you travel closer, it's more clear that just the ground here is for the most part dead. There's probably a wealth of plant life here before that's crunching beneath the horses' hooves. As you start to travel closer, you do see more movement when you probably approach to one of the arches. If you want to peer in from afar, give me perception checks.
Yes, sir. There it is.
Awesome. So, alright. Riel, you don't see much. You're way too preoccupied on defending the party. You can feel that this is unnatural, and you're a paladin. You go in through the front door. That's how they do. But even you are aware that going closer to an entrance to this place is, one, not your mission, and two, no one returns. No one ever returns. Some people have survived scrapes with the forces of Verminus. No one returns. Devi and Mikhail, you look in, and what you see is those farmlands. They're being tended. They're being tended by skeletons. Some of them are fully skeletal. Some of them are. You've dealt with undead before, all of you. Some of them are not quite zombies, not quite skeletons. They are clearly animated and just being pulled along, but they are telling the crops. They are tending food that is, where you see in the flashes of light that it's a pale, all the sort of like, it would be wheats and corns that they're growing out of season, doesn't care to them, is all white and pale and growing very bountifully, actually. With constant care from these skeletons, and you actually occasionally see that around every or so the crop that, like actually you do with farmland, there's a sort of segments. Some of them are on, some of them are off. Each segment goes up to the tower, or a series of segments go up to the tower, and each segment seems to have a lumbering large guardian going around it. This one, it's very hard for you to work out what exactly it is. You are aware it's some sort of undead creature. It is clearly bigger than the others. Its exact size is quite hard to tell from this sort of distance, but it is lumbering around, watching the others. Clearly the guard of this. The skeletons are not intended to be guards, they are workers. Now what Thunderbrow sees, what the General sees, what Osborne Thunderbrow sees, character who definitely had a name before this stream, so I memorized it.
General has been his name since when we first discussed.
No, you're right. But I just want to throw a little bit of sass. I'm not going to be as sassy as I was to you pre-stream, but there's a little sass. I couldn't be as sassy as I would be to you pre-stream. That's just against regulations.
Sass gets me all worked up.
It does. It gets me worked up. What you see is not this. You're not focused on them, skeleton workmen. That's okay. You heard rumors of this. What you're looking at is to the base of the tower. The tower, very similar to the outer walls, there are buildings around it. The buildings are not defensive. The buildings are assumingly practical for whatever purpose they may do. You actually already know that that pyramid at the back is where Verminus keeps a whole bunch of mortal captives. That's sort of where they are all contained. But you don't care about that. You look to the base of the tower, and similar to the actual outer walls, there are multiple archways at the base of the tower, each of them very, very large, and to a halfling, large is large. But you notice something walking around the outside of the tower, and you take a moment. This little perception check is not you just going, huh? No, this is you taking maybe 10 minutes to all look, maybe get different vantage points, maybe even ride over to a different place to look. You notice that for around about every 4 or so minutes, a giant walks around the tower. You can't tell much more than that. A female giant stomps around the base of the tower very consistently. You also notice, looking up, as you look up into the clouds seem to swirl with the giant slightly, enough that it's not a coincidence. You're just aware of that. You're all very practical. You're not... A level 1 person would be like, what? No, you've had run-ins with all manner of things by now. But you also see a shadow in those clouds of a dragon shape. Swooping, flying.
Very particular shape.
In a land with dragons, the silhouette of a dragon in the clouds is very much a familiar shape. It would be something that would be like cemented into like...
Preschool is like, square, circle, triangle,
dragon.
Or,
Are there any windows or balconies along the tower?
It seems that just before it sort of gets to the cloud level, there is a open level with open archways as well. So if you were to somehow fly up, you would basically just avoid the whole base of the tower and the giant and the workman.
Well,
so, kind of like reconvening, I'll get back together and be like, while I was over there looking, I noticed that there is a giant stomping about the base of the tower. Any of you see that thing?
I look over to see.
Sometimes when you mention it and you look a little longer, you see it walk around the base of the tower again. You don't see enough detail, but you're like, that's a giant.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, well, the thing looks pretty big.
She looks like she's guarding the place, so just wondering if we're gonna go any more investigating, we're gonna have to handle that first, I imagine. You see anything of note? I say kind of like look into the rest.
I'll look up to the archway where you said there was. I'll be like, I mean, I could fly up there and do some scouting. Or I could, maybe someone's better at scouting. I'm not the best at scouting.
Oh gosh, that sounds like a lot of work.
I will say that, honestly, the lot of you, what you've already gathered would be good enough to return with. Of course, you probably don't want to, but just this is more than anyone has ever really cementedly got. These are like cementing rumors, but then giant dragon, things like that, the guardians walking around. That's more than anyone's ever had,
Right. Well, it can't hurt.
Fantastic ambiance. Shall we go?
No, we're gonna need something.
Well, we have technically completed the mission given to us. I am loath to leave any humans among the captives in that tower.
I don't know if we're going to be able to release all of them, but we can We gotta balance this. I'm actually turning my attention fully to her. I'm like, we're gonna have to weigh the balance of, tipping our hand and saving the people. What's gonna do the greater good in the long term, right? So, I think you should at least test the borders and see if it's an option for us to press on and release them. But either way, leaving now would just be this whole trek just to turn back.
Ian, how do you pronounce your character's name?
Riel.
Riel? Riel? Assuming you could walk on walls, how fast do you think you can run up the tower? 4 minutes?
I don't know. Not something I've ever considered before. But I'm a pretty quick runner when I need to be. The arm would slow me down.
Well, why don't we go give it a try?
Do magic items in this world reconform to their wearers or no?
As in, if you give it to some, usually not. As in,
Like
if
the one ring matches always.
Yeah, that would be that. A one ring is a legendary item.
Of course.
I think most of the things you have wouldn't. You'd have to give it to me a case-to-case basis.
Okay,
Most
cool,
things
cool.
wouldn't.
All right, gotcha. Because that's like super high magic worlds, but Jarviskjir.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
Okay,
good question as a halfling. They're part of your humans.
I got boots that would assist her. So, Let's see. I'm a halfling male. You're a female. Do you have little feet or big feet?
Actually, they might be very snug, but
Do you participate in foot wrapping? You're a princess.
You can fly. Can you get up there? I point to the halfling.
Oh, I mean, I can be nimble when need be, but flying is... I can't. I imagine you can provide it.
Oh, no, I can't do that. He might be able to. I point at the sorcerer.
I mean, I could make you fly, or I can make me fly.
But I can get you up. And I point to my sister.
Yes, well, I think I'm probably going to be the biggest issue in terms of mobility. Armor doesn't really lend itself to quick movement or fly.
I tap the fact that I'm wearing half plate, and I'm like, it's all about how you wear it, friend.
I just pull off a massive shield off my back. I'm like, yeah.
So if you can get me up there, I'm keen on looking. I just don't want to.
I can get you up afterwards, after I get her up. Sound
Sounds
good?
fair.
All right, Rael, let's go. I'm gonna cast invisibility on both of us.
I'm going to say to them before they leave. I'm actually to say, remember the fate of these people are leaning on us. All of us are great at what we do, and we were sent for a reason. Giving each of them inspiration as a bard.
I roll my eyes. You can't see it because I'm invisible.
That's fine.
I would just.
She denies the inspiration. I keep it for a later.
I just nod. May this be successful endeavor. Let us save as many as we can.
And she casts guidance.
All right. So my plan is to move us up to the tower while invisible. Wait for the giant to pass. Cast spider climb on her, while I stay hidden, because they're both concentration spells. And you're just gonna run as fast as you can up to the window.
Are you explaining this to me in advance?
Yeah.
while you're traveling.
Okay, yes, and what? I get up to where the balcony is, and
Yeah.
And what you
And
then
you
hide
hit
and
things
wait
with your
for
sword.
everyone else to.
Yeah, the mage will fly up himself up, and I'll follow you.
Okay, yes, I suppose I can be a bulkhead.
So, actually for this, go ahead and both give me stealth rolls with advantage. Usually you wouldn't need to, but you are going into a city of the dead.
Oh
Alright,
dear.
The roll's a 10, by the way, because of my ability.
Ian's rolls a 10?
No, mine is. I don't know what Ian rolled.
Terrible. That's what I rolled.
I got that.
Also, I'm technically in heavy armor, so it would be neutral. It wouldn't even be advantage.
I mean, you rolled
Oh, sorry. I thought I rolled that.
Yeah, no, you rolled good. Don't worry about it.
You can't roll under a 10.
I can't roll under dex.
Well,
Exactly.
plus her plus is 14, so she can't roll under a 24, right?
Yeah, can't roll under 24.
Okay, good.
Oh wait, yeah, you can. You can treat that 5 as a 10. Sweet. You can get yourself a 24. There you go. Yo.
But the 4 wasn't mine, it was Ian's.
No, Rinson rolled 4 plus. Sorry, you rolled 5 plus 14 equals 19. So you still rolled a 5. You can treat that as a
Oh
10.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So you,
the
you have 24.
Sorry. Yeah, 24.
That's crazy.
That's really good.
Doesn't matter because I rolled crap.
Hey, you're invisible. You're just
So
making a lot of
as
noise.
you're lumbering through, I mean sneaking, I mean running through with stealth. This is something you two have done a lot of the time. You've done this particular maneuver more than once. You two back at the archway, you see them sort of go invisible quite confidently and rush off. You imagine there'll be some kind of signal. As you rush off, very quickly, there's actually paved roads. Cobblestone. Some parts is cobblestone, sometimes actually tiles. And as you're rushing along one, the skeletal workers would never acknowledge your existence. You're fairly sure even if you weren't invisible, they wouldn't acknowledge your existence. One of these lumbering guardians is walking right down the road. Riel might be sort of like but you can sort of sense Devi continuing on, even though you're both invisible. You can sort of tell where each other are because she's the one casting the magic on you. You sort of have a tether to each other. And she keeps going, so you don't really worry about it. You actually run under this thing's legs. What you see is a lanky creature that is sort of like a emancipated human, but sort of broader and chunkier, and its rib cages make this almost like sort of like a cage, sort of bulbous belly, almost glassy. And it seems to be continuing to looking, doesn't see you, swinging its arms as it walks. Maybe nearly hits Riel with just a swing of its arms, but doesn't. And then you get up to the base of the tower.
Wow.
Like as I said, I'm going to say, because my brain doesn't apparently like how time works. You wait until the giant is on the other side, and it's actually on the other side as you run up, so you don't get a good view of it. What's your passive perceptions? You two.
9.
Oh, is it really? Oh yeah, 15.
You notice, Devi, that another one of those hulking guardians is actually heading towards your location, not the one that you passed, but sort of like if you imagine each segment is sort of like a slice of the pie, and there were two that were walking around like this. The one that's coming the other way starts to pick up the pace. And jog isn't really the right word for a creature like this. It actually starts using its sort of knuckles to move a little faster. And you are smart enough to know that it is perhaps smelt something, if not seen something. It's rushing towards your location, although it's still quite a ways out.
I am going to still in silent mage hand. And I'm gonna cause it to like make a commotion elsewhere, like knock over some rocks or whatnot.
Okay.
Push a skeleton over, something.
Push a skeleton over. Give me I would deception or sleight of hand. I think deception makes more sense, but sleight of hand also would make sense for just sort of how you would do it, you know. I mean, that's really good, and
Also, it's a 10, so it's +5, so it's what, 23?
23. Yeah. It actually did get a 20 on the insight roll, which is not enough. So, sort of, it's rushing towards your direction. Again, Riel's sort of like it's got the shield up just in case. Trusts.
Entirely trust her.
She trusts her, but just in case, just is aware of the situation, and it's sort of smelling, and you hear it sort of. It's not actually moving its mouth. You hear words come out of it from Abyssal, if any of you actually understand Abyssal. And then, sort of, as you push over some skeletons who were carrying tools, they all clatter onto the ground, and sort of one of them, like a shovel, gets stuck actually between the ribs of one of the skeletons that gets pinned underground. Sort of turns and looks, and is like, as if That's where the threat is, and rushes off to that direction. Still fairly close to you, still sort of in an area where if you do something stupid, it will be aware of you. But it's sort of searching around that location instead, at sort of one of the corners of these farms, instead of at the base of the tower.
Should I go?
So you ready to go up?
Yes.
So do you cast Spider Climb on it?
I'm gonna like get into the best position possible.
Yeah.
Like
Stealth.
Ready to put my foot on the wall.
So, okay, let me describe where you are, and then you can tell me where you think you should hide. So at the base of the tower, there are archways. The archways are around, probably around 25 feet high. They're very high, very ornate. They have sort of these statues of skeletons sort of holding the archway up. It's, okay, you can appreciate the work. Even if it is skeletons in a skeletal city, okay, we get it. The archways moves into the center of the tower, where actually you see nothing in the center of the tower but a water fountain. It's the only thing in there. Again, very ornate. Nothing in the center but sort of outer things of these angels with their wings torn off, sort of pouring water in where the water goes in. And the water is blackish. Blackish, not necessarily thick, but it's just very dark. Although this area is lit with torches that let out a blue flame. Around you is sort of cobblestone areas, and to the edges where the farms are, there are the occasional sort of... they wouldn't even have crates here. Wheelbarrows, places where things are just being left for later because they don't need to sort of store things in the same way. That's sort of your what you're seeing.
So what I want to do, because I want to stay close by to make sure she got up there, can I use disguise self to make myself look like a stone skeleton? Like amongst like the carvings?
I don't see why not.
It doesn't require concentration. So I can do that while I'm concentrating on the spider climb.
Yeah, I don't see why not, actually. That's totally fine.
Okay.
So you sort of prepare yourself. You put yourself in there. Go ahead and
But that's going to immediately cancel the invisibility.
Yes.
Right. So immediately after, I got to cast Spider Climb.
So you do that. You turn yourself into a stone skeleton. You touch her, cast a spell on her, sort of rush up against the wall.
I jump back upon a skeleton.
Riel, as you appear from the darkness, that lumbering, lanky creature sort of turns around again, like a...
Oh no!
And actually is close enough that you feel it sort of worming its way into your mind. Now, as a paladin, it's actually quite hard for it to do. You have a very strengthened mind against these sort of things. All you sort of feel is just a sort of like, you will be bone, and sort of this word whispering into Riel's mind, not Devi's, as it starts rushing your way.
I am sprinting up that wall.
Give me an acrobatics or athletics, actually.
Yes, please let it be athletics.
Actually, it's more athletics than acrobatics. I'm just so used to playing with characters where I go, do an athletics, and they're like, can it be acrobatics? I like this as acrobatics. Can it be athletics?
Yeah.
Man, you should just have every character you have lucky.
Yeah,
now.
I should.
You're so used to it. All right, good. Okay, good. This is not what I was necessarily expecting.
How far away are they?
They are so far away that you have trouble. You don't see this. You don't see one
absolutely.
person turning. So I can't really give you a good distance of.
No,
the
yeah,
distance of the
I'm
farm,
honestly just
but-
no. That's exactly what I was looking for. I'm waiting for a symbol for me to fly there, but obviously I'm not going to.
What's
until
your
I have
passive
sight.
perception?
It's low, 9.
Huh.
It's low.
Never mind then.
Mine is a 19.
That's really good. Okay. So
I'm
you
not
actually do see this, Osborne. You see her appear, the Guardian rushing towards her. Do you want to charge the two of you into battle?
I mean, I see the Guardian rushing towards them. Exactly what's the distance between us and them?
I just said I can't give you an exact distance.
Yeah.
So well beyond any spell range, including even like a fireball.
What's the range of fireball?
120.
Yeah, way beyond that.
Okay. That's really short range. Fireball only 120 feet.
It might be
Believe so.
600, 800 feet, but
150.
I can't say that for certain.
That's short range. Okay, cool. So then no, I trust their judgment.
Okay,
so actually,
good.
I will specifically say to the sorcerer, I'll be like, they've been spotted, but I think they have it under control. They're sisters, right?
I'm sure they
He
do.
says as I get like pulled off the wall by a.
Look, that's happening, but don't jump the gun.
We've all had our harrowing adventures.
Ah!
If it gets worse, we should get there in a haste. But as for now, I think they have it.
But perhaps we should at least start picking our way there quietly.
Now, bear in mind, to walk there, you're going to have to pass another one of those guardians. You can stealth and go half the speed, or you can run. All right, both give me stealth rolls and snack on up.
Snack or snicker snacks. My stealth's not great, but here you go.
That's a pretty good stealth roll.
It's not bad.
That's a pretty good stealth roll.
Yeah, talk about pretty good stealth rolls. Jesus.
In half plate, bitches. What?
Yeah, that's really good. So you're like, yes, we should get up there, and you start sort of like trying to take to the shadows, and then you just sort of look back, and he's gone. His horse is there
God damn.
with the rest of the other two horses. That pony is left there, and he's just gone. But you didn't hear a scream, so he's probably not dead. All right.
Fair enough.
That tickled me.
All right, I'm actually going to move you to a battle mat now, so you can see what's going on. Girls, you two will join the fight just after. Actually, not very long for Osborne because he's traveling like the fucking wind, but quite some time for Mikael. Question is, will you be able to see anything? Because did I set this up right, or did I set this up terribly? It just appears to be black. Just darkness. All right, this is not correct. This is not correct.
My character wants to rid the world of darkness, Ollie. Don't make me do it right here and right now.
Did it not recognize when I say characters have sight? Because they do. Or did I put them on the wrong layer of the map? No, they are. You're here. Also, apparently Aaron's camera doesn't fit to the screen, which is my bad. I had to redo all my camera work today, which was great. That was so fun. I loved it, and I love that this isn't working right now. So you guys can't see anything, right?
No, but I'm good, you know.
So your characters can actually see everything. So I don't really know where the disconnect is. I know where streets, but
Ollie, do we have control?
Aaron,
Ollie,
I know, but I'm just asking. Aaron and Ian, can you see anything?
I can see, yeah.
Then good. That's what I was asking. When I said I can't see anything, can you say? And you just didn't respond.
Oh, sorry.
That put me into dread and fear. But yes, that's it. I didn't set them up so that chat can see what they see. But I will now show you the world.
Do you see what I see?
And in theory, this should change everything. There's one. Got it. Go through them all. Hey everyone, how you doing? Undead.
Hey.
Ain't they the best? They're
Yeah.
the best thing. I love them. I love undead. You know,
I hate
you can have all the practical benefits of having a friend. They can do things for you. They can hold things. They can open jars. You don't need to actually talk to them, feed them, give them any sort of, you know, anything.
I'm starting to feel like Stalbor is just Ollie.
Well, you know what they say about your first D&D character. He sucks. Okay, so as you described, Ian, as you're starting to climb up the wall, and you've done this before again, spider climb. How would you run up the wall, or would you sort of?
I
arm
would
up
try and run up it.
You sort of like go to do the like.
Yeah.
Run up it sideways. As you get up sort of 5 feet or so, this creature rushes up behind you and just with its hand just grabs you and pushes you back down to the ground. You catch yourself in such a way that you don't go prone or anything, and you still have spider climb on you. But down to the ground now. Devi it doesn't seem to acknowledge you. Hey, why don't you go ahead and roll me some initiatives? And actually, you two, the boys, also roll me initiative. But you're not on the sheet,
boy.
but it should work for me anyway.
Snap.
Let me see
Oh,
if
I have to
can-
roll initiative too because I'm a monster. Whoops.
So I still can't see anything, Ollie.
No, you're
Yeah.
not on this sheet. You guys
Okay,
aren't.
that's fine.
You
Okay,
aren't
good.
there.
Roll without that.
No, fair.
This is actually I don't have the entire length.
You're fine.
Which I totally could have, but I didn't.
It's all good. It's all good in the hood.
All together now.
You will
in
join the fight when you join the fight.
Not worried.
No, I
To
know
live.
you're not. I'm just letting you know. You're all a bunch of slow people. But
Ian,
Devi,
what's the? I was gonna say, Ian, what's the biggest benefit of a short rest for you? Is there a big one or no?
I don't think I have any benefits to a short
Okay.
rest.
Okay. I thought there was a warlock. There's not. Thank you. Bye bye.
There isn't.
Devi, you see this happening. You can react first, where you are concentrating on spells. I also think you're muted because you said tried to sort of react to something before and I didn't hear anything.
I'm just gonna see how this plays out.
Yeah, cool. It. Let me just read some abilities real quick.
The whole party just leaves her stranded.
Yeah,
You got this, right,
go
sis?
up the wall.
Oof, come on.
Awesome. All right, so it's going to just straight up start mauling at you. Its fingers born down to the bone, just like with many undead creatures. Although you are aware that this is probably not a big undead thing. Actually, now that you're closer up, Riel, you don't notice, but Devi, with your turn of sort of just waiting and watching, you actually can tell that this creature looks like it's been stitched together by magic. You can see runes holding it together very haphazardly. Like a prototype design sort of thing. Definitely not done the cleanup work yet. And it is immediately just going to attack you with its claws. And what is your armor class, Mr. Ian? So it's going to hit with the second attack. The first attack just crashes down against your shield, scratches your shield. Usually, to most people, this would leave just a horrible mark, but the shield just is completely impervious to damage. It scratches down this ram's head shield. Just causing sparks, honestly, and not much else. The second time, it sort of pushes its weight up with you up against the wall more, and it's an undead creature. It's putrefying, it's foul, its stench is horrible. It sort of pushes and crunches and punches in a lot of actually fairly quick motions, but it's mostly the weight behind it. It's putting, which really hurts. And with that weight, as it's actually manages to get a slight cut on you with the claw, so it deals 15 slashing damage. After that first claw, you feel, as you felt before, just a life-draining force being sucked away from you. Actually, you know more than this. This is a soul-tearing force. You feel it trying to pull the soul from your body, which is something you felt before. Let me add up numbers. That's a nice, neat 25 necrotic damage. And that's its turn. After that is you. Sorry, the turn order is here. I haven't run D&D for a couple of days.
I'm just going to struggle to pull out my longsword while it's doing that, and I'm just going to stab straight into the biggest target part of it I can.
The biggest part of it would probably be its stomach.
Yeah.
That is very much a hit.
And I will pop a smite off on that. So first that's damage.
Pop a smite.
then improved
Go
divine
ahead.
smite, and then just a actual smite. Does this count as an undead?
This is a fiend,
This is a fiend.
so it does take more damage.
So does that come under? Oh yeah, undead or fiend takes.
Yeah, it takes an extra D8. Did you do? You did that twice. You did 2 feet.
No, there's So I get improved divine smite on all attacks, which is
Oh, you could just roll all those d8s together. But
I can.
The system
but
works.
I've got this set up.
Yeah, no, whatever works for you, mate.
29 damage then.
See, if Scott tries to do that sort of thing, I'm like, nah. But you know, Ian gets a leeway because Ian's cute.
Wow.
Excuse me, I'll have you know, I got a Davis booty.
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about, Will. You know
No,
what I'm talking about.
I don't. I don't.
Well,
know
you know,
what
it's a lot of effort to see your own butt. Believe me, I've tried.
You want to get like a little...
No!
Here's that. Hey, re-angle on.
Yes, Slashes, you're right. That is enough to kill a regular human. Absolutely. This is a hero among men who, to them, this is a small scratch with their plate armor. To a regular person, that is several deaths over, and their soul has already been sucked from their body. Bear in mind that these are level 16 adventurers. To them, things are very different. So you do that. You smite golden light.
Yep.
The golden light slashes into its sort of stomach where there are organs sort of oozing. You see sort of parts cut. And actually, unlike a lot of undead creatures, it does react. It does sort of flinch in pain and pull away slightly. But not as much as, you know, some creatures would. It's injured, but not badly injured, you know. Let's do another action before we go to a break, another round. So, is that all you want to do?
Yeah, I'm not doing any bonuses.
All right, you do use your bonus to smite. I think.
Is it?
I think that's your bonus to do a regular divine smite.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Devi.
Yeah. I want to move over here. You know what? I will attack him.
Oh yes, Ian, you have 2 attacks.
Oh yes, I do. Of course, I am so used to being low level.
Let's just give Ian another attack real quick. Also, you've never played a character that has had multi attacks. You played a
No, I never got to that
sorcerer
level
when we played our other game. That is actually another hit.
Oh, excellent. Damage and then the.
You can't do another smite because you just used your bonus action to smite.
Well, I.
Do you always do the improved divine smite?
Yeah, that's on everything.
Okay, cool.
So
just making sure you know the other thing is.
I did copy that straight from the.
Yeah. It's just you didn't explain that.
No,
and I read this a while ago.
No. The improved divine smite. Yeah, sorry.
I'm just making sure you know the action economy of
yeah, no, that's fine. I'm just saying that I copied the divine smite thing from the PHP. That doesn't mention needing a bonus action to do that.
Well, maybe you don't need to do it for a regular divine smite.
I don't think you do for a smite. I think.
Oh no, you don't for regular ones. It's the other ones you do. Yeah, the other ones are a bonus. So I guess if you want to smite it, you can, which you probably do because you're a paladin fighting a monster.
Yeah, I'm going to smite it because I can. Just to make lots more adding up. 35 damage, isn't that?
Yeah, it's not. Just don't even try adding it up because I'm not doing it that way. You always like try to add up the mismatched damage halfway through when I'm typing in the damage and chunking it off the thing, and I just get so mindful every time. And I'm
Okay,
like,
I'll shut up.
Thanks. You usually don't do it.
Divine Smite cost a spell slot, not bonus action.
Yeah.
Great. See, we get it out of the way now before we find the Lich. After that, Devi, you'll go attack with some booming blades.
Do I have advantage on this because he didn't see me, or does he see me now that I moved out into the...
Because it's sort of the same moment you moved out, then sure. You could also move behind it to give yourself advantage anyway. But yeah, you would have advantage on this. Yeah.
Okay. Which one is my booming blade? Is this one? Yeah. It's a hit.
That is a hit, yes.
Cool. It's gonna be a lot of damage. And then I'm going to bonus action disengage. I'm gonna move over here.
So you just sort of like slink out from the shadows and stab it in the leg. How does your booming blade work?
Yeah, I take out my rapier. I stab into him. Arcane runes kind of floating around me, swirling with like air magic and a loud crashing thunder noise, and then I move back.
Crashing thunder noise. Its leg kind of just all the sinews and tendons and things tearing out. I have heard that there are some Twitch issues going on right now, so I'm glad I'm recording it. If Twitch crashes on my end, then that's an issue, but it seems to be a Twitch end problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stupid Twitch. How dare you?
Twitch is... They're updating, which means things don't work. Ooh. It attacks at you again, Riel. This time, your AC is going to be 23, right? No, that was something else. Yes, so both of these attacks hit, which is great. I mean, bad.
I'm gonna die to the first battle.
Well, you know.
It's great that we have a healer.
Yeah,
Oh,
we've got
wait.
a
Well,
paladin.
you know, you split the
Wait.
party. So, so the first attack, the actual clawing, as it sort of is holding you down to the ground and sort of like scraping to try and almost peel you out of your armor like a can of sardines. The clawing is going to deal a 9 damage. Then the necrotic is going to deal 18 damage. That's the first attack. The second attack deals 13 damage on the claw.
Oof.
Ooh. There's a lot of 6s. .26 necrotic damage on the second attack.
Eee. You're not looking too good there, huh?
It's one of those things where it's just sort of got you in this on the ground. It's just clawing and grabbing, and with your armor, it pierces through. Never does the claws get all the way through into really damaging you, but you're being sort of turned into paste. Although you are noticing that this thing is unstable. The magic holding it apart is no longer doing it. It's due job. Now it's your turn.
Do I go for the kill or do I heal myself?
The paladin question.
Paladin question.
There's only one correct answer.
Let's always go for the kill.
Spicy!
Always go for the kill.
Yeah.
Always go for the kill. Come on.
Always.
Spices is always the correct
Don't worry.
answer.
There's a bard in the party. They can heal you, right?
I hope. And now for all the fun stuff. Let's do a second level just to hopefully get even worse. Yeah, that's great. That was
Yeah, that
brilliant
second level
damage.
was basically as good as like one of the ones you did
I
last
know,
time.
right? Yeah.
That's sad, Ian.
That's presumably not dead then.
No.
There. Second attack.
I mean, it is dead,
Wait,
but it has not ceased to be.
It's not ceased to be. Yeah.
I'm glad you enjoyed that. All I want is one laugh. That's all I need, honestly.
Die, you bloody thing.
Is this thing dead? Absolutely. It attacks you.
As you sort of like stab up at it, like I am no man, and you stab every time you swing. That your blade is glowing with radiant light. It's still bearing down on you. It is starting to fall apart. In fact, one of its the leg that was so badly injured before, sort of as you sort of just stab at anything you can, actually that whole left leg just sort of tears and falls off. It's keeping itself perfectly more or less balanced because it's leaning on you. Next up is Devi.
Muttering under my breath. Devi, you better finish it.
Go off the wall. How difficult is it?
What? Sorry?
Alright.
She said climb up the wall. How
Oh, yeah.
difficult
Go
is
off the
it?
wall. How hard is it? Just walk up.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta do. I will do Booming Blade again. I'm trying to get this thing's attention, like to follow me, but That
That's a hit, yeah.
Dice.
bonus
Holy
action
shit.
disengage.
You just described the kill. No, that was it. That was all you needed.
It explodes.
Oh, aw.
You know what? Yeah, that's good. That's good enough. It explodes. A whole bunch of soul goop sprats up them out the tower with Riel in the way, and that's actually where we're going to leave it for now.
Oh, it's the end of the session for the day? That was quick.
We're
Wow,
gonna
I
be
was
back
disappointed.
in 5 minutes.
Oh, thank God. I mean, that was
Hopefully, Scott, we can just be lost stealthing forever. Oh no, he got a 20. Shit. He's so stealthy, he won't be on the show anymore. No, we'll be back in a bit.
Hey!